really breaks my heart. Cause we've been lied to, misled for years, calling out to the ghosts high on this trail of tears. Hiya, 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 hiya.
The title of the lesson is Truth Liberates. Truth Liberates. That's the title of the lesson. So we're going to go into that lesson, and you can already probably think of where it's going about the truth set you free. How many people know that? Okay, because I'm sure we all feel like we free from the bondage of the world, just having the truth. And this could be a twofold thing where it's just truth itself liberates, you know. Because the world we come up in, we tend to not live according to truth, not live according to being truthful, you know. Me just thinking back, you know, I always give examples when I was a kid or whatever, you know. I wasn't always truthful. You know, I think I was like a habitual liar or something, you know. So like for just no reason, you know. Man, I'm just looking back, it was just like it was a spirit on me just to tell fibs, lies, whatever you want to call it. And it was just for no reason, because, you know, I just thought, you know, you lie to your parents as a kid, you know, they teach you to tell the truth, but, you know, it's just that sin of Adam in us, that mischievousness that just caused us to just tell little lies as a kid when you know your parents, you know otherwise, but you just sit there and constantly drill the lie home, not being truthful, you know. Just a quick story, I remember I was like, probably about 10, 11 years old, and, you know, my mom used to get us ready to start the day in the summer, early in the morning, like 9 in the morning, and, you know, she get your nice clothes on you and everything, and, you know, as a kid, I want to go outside. You know, so I'm like, Mom, you know, all my friends outside, but we finna go run errands all day. So I'm like, Mom, can I go outside? And she's like, you can go outside, but you know what our parents tell you, stay on the porch, because we're gonna leave in such and such minutes. So, you know, our porch was like 4 by 4, like 4 feet wide by 4 feet wide, not even that big. So as a kid, I'm standing there on the porch, all my friends having fun, my mom and my sister, they getting ready for the leave for the day. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, I got nice little clothes on my mom put on me. Guess what? I can't take it no more, I takes off. You know, it's 9 in the morning, so now I'm out exploring with my friends, doing whatever with my friends, and come back in the afternoon, you know, my mom gone. I've been going, that was 9 in the morning, now it's 4 in the afternoon. You know, I come back, my mom's car ain't back. So, you know, I'm thinking of how can I get out of this, because I know I'm in trouble. I've been gone 7, 8 hours. You know, clothes look totally different than when it started that morning. So I'm standing on the porch, because I know my mom should be, you know, it's 4 in the afternoon now. I'm standing on the porch, my mom finally pull up. You know, my sister, you know, she first went out the car, she looks at me, ooh, you in trouble. I'm like, calm down, calm down. Calm down. Where did y'all go? So she was like, I'm like, hold on, tell me where y'all went first, all the way up until now. Because now my mom, she's still getting groceries out the car. So my sister, she like, oh, we went over Auntie Barbara's house, we went to the store, then we went to church, then we went here, then we went down. So, okay, so I'm getting the timeline down. Because I think I'm slicker than my parents. Right. So my mom walking up with an armful of bags of groceries, with mad at the world because she know I'm in trouble. And, you know, me thinking I'm slick and I'm a professional liar at 11 years old, I'm like, ta-da! She's like, ta-da, nothing, you getting beat. I'm like, what you mean? She was like, you know what I mean, I told you not to leave off the porch. I'm like, see, you don't even know. I've been with y'all the whole time. She's like, what? Like, okay, yeah. I'm like, no, I've been with with us the whole time. I was in the trunk of the car. And she was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna beat you like you. So I'm like, I was in the trunk of the car, Mom. I could tell you everywhere we went.
Oh, wow.
We went to Auntie Barbara's, we went to the store, and we went to church. And so in my mind, I'm like, she gotta believe me because how would I know this? You know, I'm a kid, you know, I'm like, so, you know, I'm gonna be like, Mom, like, why am I get a whipping? How would I know this? I was in the car the whole time. You don't even believe me? Why wouldn't you believe me? She was like, you ain't been in no trunk the whole time. I just got the groceries out the trunk. So I'm like, yeah, you remember you stopped at the corner down there? I got out, ran around the block, boom, here I am. Just, and you know, so that's another beating I got coming, stacked up on the other 5 that's coming my way. And the whole thing was, all while I'm getting beat, I'm steadily hollering, you don't even know, I was in the trunk. Still not telling the truth. Still not telling the truth, thinking that, you know, I'm wiser than my parents, I'm smarter, and just a habitual liar, and just no matter what, just refuse to tell the truth. You know, and as you get older, you look back like, how foolish was that? But then, you know, in our adulthood, we do some of these things. We can't be truthful to who we are. We can't say, hey, I'm a liar, hey, I'm this, and I'm that. We put up a facade. And we carry these things into adulthood because the world has taught us to lie. You know, we conform to being liars. You know, in some way, form, or fashion, most of the time, some worse than others. But, you know, as John 8:32 says, the truth will set you free. You know, now I would have told my mom the truth. It wouldn't have got me out of a beating, but it would have, you know, liberated me some type of way, like, okay, I was wrong, you know, and I just told the truth. Your parents can deal with that much more than you're trying to play on their ignorance, on their intelligence rather, and think they're ignorant, you know, and bring them down to that level. So those are things we got to keep in mind because some of us still refuse to see that truth. We still standing there talking about, but you don't even know, you know, and the whole time the Most High knows, you know, so without that, no further ado, we'll get into the first commentary.
Truth liberates. You have awakened to the reality that the world you live in is unfortunately under a deep level of confusion, and many walk in sin almost as if their own sin has become their master. How do you free them? Is there some special New Age technique that you need to snap them out of their hypnotic state? You will find that there is no better method of freeing souls from the grasp of this satanic society than the truth that the Bible provides. Let us reflect on the truth and where we can go with it if we use it in wisdom.
Okay, it says from the grasp of this satanic society. So that's what I was saying. The world has, you know, conformed to this Satan's world. So above it says, many walk in sin almost as if their own sin has become their master. And that's what happens. Your sin that you carry, that you cling to, Salakia, can and will become your master. If you don't vet that, if you don't repent of that, if you don't have a repentant heart, that sin will become your master. If you're a gluttonous, that gluttony will become your master. If you're a vain babbler or anything, it will become your master. Before you do anything, that'll come to mind before truth will. If you're a liar, somebody can just ask you the most common question. If you're a liar and you inundate yourself with lies, the most common question your first speech would be a lie instead of, why didn't I just tell the truth? You see, like when I was a kid, why didn't I just tell the truth? My mom, no, you know, like, hey, I don't know what happened, I took off. But, you know, we gotta find a way to fashion things to just, you know, pretty much let Satan cling on to us. So when it says, many walk in sin almost as if their own sin has become their master. And look, it says their own sin. So this is a sin that really doesn't attach itself to you. This is a sin that doesn't become part of your being. This is a sin that, you know, hey, I do some sins, but this is the one I'm good at. You know, it done became your sin, your own sin. This is your tag. This is, you know, and we don't want to be known for that. And then it says, how do you free them? So how do you free our people of this? How do you free our people of these iniquities? We'll find out the truth of Scripture and the law will set us free. That's what liberates us. The law. It always comes back to the law. It always comes back to that blueprint. Walking like Christ. What did Christ do? He followed the law. So this is how we liberate our people. We can go around all day saying, you know what, you should stop doing this, you should stop doing this, don't do this, don't tell lies, be truthful. But what's the guideline to make them, for them to have an onus to say, okay, now I'm on the righteous path? It's the law. It's the law. It always has been and always will be. It's that righteous law, because that lets you know what side of the line you're on. So we'll go to the first set of scriptures. We're going to Hebrews 6 and 13. Hebrews 6 and 13. Once again, the title is Truth Liberates. So truth frees us. Going to Hebrews 6 and 13.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 13. For when the Most High made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself.
So he swore by himself. So the Most High, there's no other power or God or entity for him to, you know, this is on him. He's the great I am. Continue.
Saying, surely blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thee. And so, after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise.
He obtained the promise. So this is speaking to Abraham and the lineage of Abraham, the promise that will be handed down. Continue.
For men verily swear by the greater, and an oath for confirmation is to them an end of all strife.
An end of all strife. Now, just going back up to 15, and it says, after he had patiently endured. So he didn't expect an instant reward. Patiently endured. You know, those who endure to the end. So it wasn't an instant, and that's the age we in, where we want everything instant. You tell us we gotta patiently endure for something, the next question gonna be how long? That shows you have no patience right there. Continue.
Wherein the Most High willing more abundantly to shew unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath, that by two immutable things.
Two immutable things. So immutable is something that's unchanging over time. Something that's unable to be changed. So, and looking in modern day Christianity, you know, they'll say God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. But then when you tell them they're not keeping the proper calendar, they're not keeping the Sabbath day, they're keeping Sunday worship, what's the first thing they say? Things change over time. No, those things are immutable. Those things are immutable. Continue.
That by two immutable things in which it was impossible for the Most High to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us, which hope we have as an anchor of the soul, but sure and steadfast, and which entereth into that within the veil.
So entereth into that within the veil. So it says, which hope we have as an anchor. Like the Most High's word is bond. The Most High word is that great anchor. It's not going to waver from that. It's immutable. It's not going to dissipate, you know, over time. It's not going to be done away with. You know, that's truth. That's truth. Like, it's no greater truth then from the words, once he spake them, to the point where it comes into fruition. You know, sometimes somebody might promise you something, and then at some point you'll be like, okay, I didn't get that, what they promised me, I didn't get that reward. And then, you know, down the line, when they finally give you that reward or whatever it is, you know, you say, oh, I thought you forgot about me. You know, no, it's not that they didn't forget about you, it's just that, you know, that's where the patience come in. That's where the endurance come in. You know, they kept their word. Now, what greater word would you want to stand on than the ones of the great I am? You know that's a payoff. You know that's a payoff. That's definitely coming. Let's go to the next commentary.
We must learn that in order to liberate ourselves from the grasp of the devil, we must imitate our Father in heaven and stand in truth. The fact that the Father doesn't lie in any scenario should strengthen us in the promise he has made to us, and also motivate us to speak truth in our own lives, because it is also a sign of progression towards the kingdom.
Towards the kingdom, and that's our ultimate goal. That's our ultimate, you know, that's it. That's the reward. Any and everything is worth enduring for that great reward to the kingdom. All of this would be in the review. All of this would be an afterthought. So the Most High made promises to us that we should pleasure in, knowing we can receive that promise. We're eligible for that promise. As long as we have breath in us, we eligible for that promise. No matter how dark it get, no matter how weary we get, you know, when we dust ourselves off, get back up, we still in the game. We still eligible for that prize. Like, man, I had a bad day yesterday, but today, you know, I got breath in my lungs. I'm still good to go. You know, so that's what we got to keep in mind as we endure to the end. So what greater promise than the one that the Most High gives, because you know it's going to cash out. You know that. But it's a certain course needed to get the reward. It's a certain criteria needed to get that reward. You can't just exist. You can't just wake up every day and then be like, you know what, I didn't rob nobody today, I didn't murder or kill, and then you sit somewhere in the corner. You gotta, you know, have faith, and you gotta have works. You know, you can't just sit idly by. You can't be slothful. So you got a job to do. You gotta work for the kingdom. You know, and the scriptures tell us when Christ come back, you should be caught working. You want to be caught working. You don't want to be caught sitting idly by, sitting on your hands and watching your brothers and sisters do work. You don't want to be that. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that saint. You want to be caught when you want to be, you know, doing works. It's like when your parents leave you off to do something and they check in on you. You already know I'm not going to get fussed at if they see me working. They see me straightening something up, because that was the last task they gave us. Straighten this up, you know, when we get back, or when we, you know, in a few minutes, yada, yada, yada. They look in, they see you working. But if they see you lollygagging or whatever, you finna get chastised, you finna get fussed at. You know, so we want to be caught working. Where we at? Let's go into Proverbs 31. No, Proverbs 3:1. Proverbs 3:1. Let's go deeper into this. Everybody have to say, come.
All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 1. My son, forget not my law.
Forget not my law, not your own understanding. That don't mean forget my law and then lean on your own understanding. Don't forget my law and do what society says. Roll with how society rolls. Roll with the change of the times. Start that again.
Proverbs 3:1. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments.
Let thine heart keep my commandments. Keeping the commandments leads us to the promise. Continue.
For a length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart.
Bind them about thy neck. When you got something about your neck, wherever you go, it goes. Whatever you about, it's about. If you get wet, it gets wet. If you go through a hard time, it's right there with you. Bind it to your neck, meaning make the law a part of your being. If you're going through tribulations, keep the law. The law gets you through the tribulations. If you're going through turmoil, keep the law. It'll see you through. Bind them about your neck. Continue.
Verse 4. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of the Most High and man.
So that'll give you favor from the Most High. You know, and he'll put you above the average man. He'll give you wisdom more than the average man. He'll bless you more than the average man because you bind his law to you. You made it a part of your being. Continue.
Trust in the Most High with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
So don't come up with your own path. Like I said earlier, don't lean to your own understanding. Don't negate the Most High's laws and just go with society. Don't go with the multitude. But at all costs, this is, like I always say, this is our ticket to the kingdom, is keeping the law. And we know it's not in place to be grievous to our lives. It's actually trying to save you. It's actually trying to, you know, and we'll fight it. We'll you know, something that's meant greatly for us and give us the most grateful reward. We'll find excuses not to abide with it. When the whole time it is saving you from yourself. It's saving you from your flesh. Continue.
Verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Be not glory. Go ahead.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Most High, and depart from evil.
Depart from evil. So leaning on your own understanding is evil. Because you following your heart is evil. You understand? It might not be in certain instances that you can think of, but for the most part, if you're leaning on your own understanding, you're letting your heart, I'm gonna just go with how I feel. But how you feel is persuaded by the environment you're in, how somebody else treats you, the situation you might be going through, anything. Your heart is sculpted by those emotions and things like that. So now, if you say, you know what, I'm gonna just roll with how my heart feel, well, your heart is gonna be shaped and sculpted in many different ways throughout a day, many different ways throughout a week. And now, if you start following your heart and leaning on your own understanding, well, that's situational. That's situational. And what you do at the culmination of the day, well, you're gonna have a good day or bad day depending upon what? How the situations out in the world treated you that day. How the people at your job treated you. Well, I would have been all right if they wouldn't have came and da-da-da-da-da. Well, you know, if you kept the law, you know, treated your brothers and sisters the way you would like to be treated, came with the fruits of the Spirit, you know, you would have overcame that. Let's get the next commentary.
Truth must be a constant thing within our lives. The priests at one time had the laws written on tablets which were around their necks and bound them around their arms. We under Christ are asked now to internalize the same commandments of truth so that we walk in righteousness from day to day.
Walking in righteousness from day to day. So at the beginning of that commentary, it said truth must be a constant thing within our lives. Not within our adulthood, not within when we come into the truth, within our lives. So, you know, most of the times as children, we was always told to what? Tell the truth, you know. But at some point, you learn to become conniving. You know, you learn how to, you know, you start shedding that innocence of a child. You know, you start seeing adults telling you Be truthful, tell the truth. But then you start, kids are very attentive. They pay attention to things. Like, okay, they telling me, to tell the truth, and you just lied to uncle. Or you just, you know what I'm saying? You start noticing those things, and then that starts killing that innocence of you as a child. Like, man, they telling me to tell the truth and be truthful and don't tell a lie, not even a little white lie. Then you start noticing how those examples set before you, your foreparents, your immediate foreparents or whomever, family, friends, people that you have to look up to, they doing little conniving stuff, and that starts to, as a child, like I say, shed that innocence, and it starts to dissipate. And then now you're not walking as righteously day to day. And this is the curses that's upon us. That's ultimately what it is we accursed people. So Satan started attacking us in the womb, and definitely as soon as you come out the womb. It already begun. It's already, in full swing. So it says, walk righteous. We walk internalize these same commandments of truth so that we can walk in righteousness from day to day. And us being the children of Israel, us being the Most High's flock, that's really how we're supposed to be brought up. Child comes into the world unvaccinated, untouched, what's the word I'm looking for? Corrupted. Didn't even corrupt them in the womb. Now he comes out into the world. That spirit is upon us as a nation to love on them, to build them up, to just as a nation we treat each other, the way we're supposed to be treated, as a righteous people would, being that light of the world. Then that child becomes older and older. Train up in a child the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart. So, okay, now he's 5 years old, 10 years old, he's 5 years old, having dignity, knowing how to take care of his parents and whomever needs him, being a gentleman to women, holding the door or whatever, seeing a woman carrying a load, I got it, this kid's 6 years old, that's how we're supposed to come up as a righteous nation. So by the time that kid is 12 years old, he got a very righteous mindset. He's keeping the law, because guess what? He's been keeping it since he came out the womb, But we're not in that. We're not in that. We're in a state of corruption, where people are selling their children, squandering their children off. That's the state we in, where we're corrupting the child even before he comes out of the womb. Yeah, okay, I need some more prenatal pills. I need this and that. You already damaging them. You're not even giving them a fair chance sometimes with falling to the vaccinations. That's the state we in. So now the kid at 5 years old, you have to tell him 18 times to put that down, little Jimmy. Put that down. And then your kid looking at you like, don't hit that table no more. And he like, don't do it again. And now in front of everybody can see you don't have control over your child. These are the curses that's upon us. When your kids will outright disrespect you, in front of everyone. It's crazy. Let's continue. Where we going?
Go to Proverbs 12 and 17.
Proverbs 12 and 17. So once again, you can see we're in these wisdom scriptures. Always very key. Proverbs 12 and 17. Proverbs 12 and 17. So in this society, we shed that innocence of a child early. Now you'll see people filming their children doing erotic dances and laughing, and you got people that's filming themselves, allowing their kid to smoke weed, blowing weed in their children's face. You see? Like, you see that like, oh yeah, they're going to jail. Like, it was not too long ago where that one sister was, she had like a baby that probably was only like maybe 2 months. and she holding the baby like this and just blowing weed smoke in the baby's face, and then got the baby like this, and then just flopped them down, how are you a mother? That's no motherly instinct whatsoever. You know? Yeah, they lost their natural affection of love. Like, how can you do that? You know, damaging the child. But, you know, we're going to be in a state where that's not even going to be among us, you know, but we have to endure. And it's hurtful to see those things because we know we're not supposed to be like that as a people. So let's get to Proverbs 12 and 17.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 12, verse 17. He that speaketh truth sheweth forth righteousness, but a false witness deceit.
But a false witness deceit. So if truth is about you, you always seeking to be righteous. You always doing righteous acts, righteous things. That's a part of your being. But a false witness deceit. A false witness, or somebody who's always trying to be conniving, like I say, the first thing is how to be conniving. They can't even answer a common question without sin trying to automatically jump out front and be like, how can I be conniving in this, even just to give an answer? Continue.
There's that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. The lip of truth shall be established forever. By a lying tongue is but for a moment.
A lying tongue is but for a moment, because eventually your lies will be found out. You know, might not be immediate, but on the day of judgment, it's all going to get played back. Even the ones you forgot, even the ones you didn't even realize you were lying, even the times you didn't think you was being deceitful, is all going to be played back. So everything will be on display. That shame is going to be dreadful. It's going to be a dreadful shame on judgment. Like, man, I did that. So that's why we want to be cleansed. That's why the baptism is such a necessity. It cleanses us of that. You want that in the sea of forgetfulness. You want the Most High to be like, you know what, I'm not even playing that bad. We're not even going into that. You're a renewed person when you come up out of that water. All the things that you transgressed and iniquities that was upon you up to that moment are washed away. I'm thankful for that. I don't know about y'all. I got some things I don't want to see on Judgment Day. You understand? That's something to be thankful for. That's grace. That's mercy. That's everlasting mercy for a multitude of people. Like water, that water is powerful. Then you got people out here that negate the baptism. So you won't make it into the kingdom, because it tells us you got to go down in that water to make it. So, you know, they can claim they're keeping the law and doing all the righteous acts and so on and so forth, but they didn't even get baptized because they don't even believe in Christ. So they don't even believe in baptism. All for naught. Continue.
Verse 20. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil.
So deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil. So these are some people that sit around 24/7 thinking of ways to be deceitful. In their life would be much easier if they just, you know, took that same energy and just been truthful and righteous and just put that energy towards being, you know, for the lack of better word, a good person or a saint. But that's too much like right. Continue.
But to the counselors of peace is joy.
So to the counselors of peace is joy. So you're looking to be peaceful and righteous, joy gonna be upon you. Joy gonna overflow you. That's just, you know, because you made that a part of your being. Continue.
There shall no evil happen to the just, but the wicked shall be filled with mischief. Lying lips are an abomination to the Most High, but they that deal truly are his delight.
So they that deal truly, righteously, are his delight. So Revelations 24, 22, 14, 15 tells that liars won't get into the gates of the kingdom. So when it says lying lips are an abomination to the Most High, those people won't make it. Deceitful people won't make it. Revelations 21:8 lets us know hell will be their place. Damnation will be their place. Liars, deceit, all of those. It's a place for them. So that's what it means when it says lying lips are an abomination to the Most High. That's an abomination. You can't get into the kingdom dealing in abominations. So it's a place for you. And the precepts and revelations tell you what that reward is. Let's get the next commentary.
The Father is pleased with those who deal in truth. Those that lie in an effort to deceive are temporary, and you shouldn't be too unsettled by those who operate in this manner.
So you shouldn't be too unsettled by those who operate. Don't let it bother you. People that's continuously lying, don't let it bother you. It's a judgment coming from that. A liar's actions are temporary. They'll both be found out. The Most High gonna root all that out. You know, He'll take care of that. Let's go to Proverbs 16:6. Proverbs 16:6. So somebody that's constantly lying, don't let it unsettle you. Most High gonna deal with them. If they don't feel condemned enough to cease, you know, it's a judgment for that. Proverbs 16:6-7.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 6. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Most High, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Most High, He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
He maketh his enemies be at peace with him. So telling the truth in Christ's mercy, free us from that. Free us from iniquity. Read 16:6 again.
Proverbs 16:6. By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged.
By mercy and truth, sin is purged. So the more truthful you are, you purge that sin. Like I said, when I was a kid, my mom, you know, I could have just been like, Mom, I did this, I was here, I went over here, I was 3 miles away from the house, you know, yada, yada, yada. You know, it's still a judgment for that. I'm still entitled to a whooping. But, you know, but if I would have did that and been repentant, that iniquity would have been purged. Or instead, a person just continues to lie in that vein. Let's get the next commentary.
Truth purges sin, therefore the devil makes us enraged usually when truth comes forth, so that the demon that is present will be able to stay with the particular person. It is there to liberate you so that you are no longer a slave to the demons of your past and present.
Let's go over that again. It says, truth purges sin, like we just read above. Therefore, the devil makes us enraged, usually when truth comes forth, so that the demon that is present will be able to stay with that particular person. It's like I said earlier, that demon wants to cling to you. That sin wants to cling to you. That sin wants to be a part of your being. You're a good host. This is a good home. Like, man, you put lives together well. I can't leave you. You're the best one I done had. Truth purges sin, therefore the devil makes us enraged. And you see that whenever you tell somebody the truth, what they do? They get angry. They get upset. It's that demon. It's the devil. It's that parasite. You're the host. You're the best thing they got going. You know, when you sitting there lying and being deceitful and not truthful, that demon is kicking back like, oh, that's my boy, man. That's my boy. Look the way he put them lies together. I ain't had nothing to do with that one. That demon clings, and when you try to point that out to that person, what that person do? Get upset. Like I said, when my mom said, "You've been gone all day and we was gone," what I'm saying, you don't even know. I was in the truck the whole time. Like, how dare you think I'm lying? You see what I'm saying? I'm excited. I'm like, you gonna whoop me? It's judgment time. So the second half of that said, it is there to liberate you so that you are no longer a slave to the demon. That's speaking of the law. It's there so you won't be a slave to that demon of your past and present. Because sometimes we have demons that's been with us for ages, for as long as we've been around. And those demons been around for centuries. So they've been with you since you was a kid. Some are from your own voluntary acts, and some because of things that were put upon us because of certain other acts. But we gotta purge it. We gotta shed it. So those demons, they won't even let you get out what you're about to say. If you come to somebody and be like, "Oh, okay, let me tell you this what's going on," they don't even want to hear it. They're gonna cut you off. You know what I'm saying? That's that devilish spirit. That demon want to stay here, whether you or someone else, whether you or someone else. When you identify that spirit, that's the thing. You have to identify these spirits. Once you identify that spirit and see what you see, this is what's going on. I see this. I identify. Now that light is shed on that demon. Now it's like, oh man, okay. I had them thinking the whole time it was the person. Now they see I'm the demon behind it. Now they looking right into, So now a discussion has to be had because that demon needs to, we need to be up out of that vessel. Whether it's us or ourselves, whether it's someone else or whether it's ourselves, you got to recognize that when you're dealing with it with a person, and also when you dealing with it with yourself. Like, man, okay, something not right. I'm off. Like, man, okay, this is what it is, because I shouldn't even be like this. So, okay, when the last time I fasted? What ticked me off? What set me off like that? Okay, this is where it's at, and I already see what's going on. Let's purge that off. Let's get that off of us. Let's get Psalms 119 and 141. Psalms 119 and 141. So Satan can't dwell in that comfort. He can't dwell in that comfortability, So, because the thing is, he don't want you reproving yourself or reproving anybody else. So that person will try to cut you off. It's like, man, okay. Or if it's in you, you'll get distracted by something else. He needs an interception. He needs something to happen like, okay, let's not shed no light on this. Psalms 119, 141.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 141. I am small and despised, yet do not I forget thy precepts. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth.
Thy law is the truth. We're speaking of truth. And we keep, that goes hand in hand with the law. Continue.
Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me, yet thy commandments are my delights.
So it says, trouble and anguish have taken hold on me. So you got to hold on to the law even under that anguish. Like I said earlier, that's what's going to get you through. The law is going to get you through those tribulations, that anguish. You got to hold on to that even while you're going through the anguish. It does us no good to practice all these righteous acts, understand the law, understand what we got to do and how to keep the law, and then as soon as we get in the situation, it's not even in the forefront of our thoughts. And that takes some getting used to, because we are people that we just learn, we just react. Oh, you ain't gonna do this to me. Oh, you ain't gonna say this to me. So I'm gonna be like this. You know, I've done that. You know what I'm saying? And then once I get a clearer head, it's like, okay, how did I not, you know, keep the law? I just threw that right out the window. So it does us no good to understand the law, know it's our guideline, and then when we get in a situation, we get hot-headed and just toss it over our shoulder, and then want to pick it up later. But you know, it takes time to get, you know, we've been in iniquity so much, and we newborn babes in this. It takes time to get to a point where that's on the forefront. When something come up, okay, I already got my shield up, I already got my buckler up, I know how to address this. Continue. So even at your lowest state, that Holy Spirit wants you to hold on to that law, because it knows it's going to be what's going to redeem you. So at your lowest state, at your most ticked off moments, hold on to that law. Because most of the time we can't think of the law because we're thinking carnally. So when you're thinking carnally, the law isn't on the forefront. But we got to learn how to operate with wisdom and be able to, you know, let that be the on the forefront of our minds. The law always has to be in our hearts and minds, and how we operate with everything. That's what's going to get us through this wall. Let that be our initial, let that be the front line. Let's get the next commentary.
The Father provides us with truth through his law so that we could live long and healthy lives, yet we choose confusion and lies which shorten our lives and destroy our communities. Yeah. If we would take time out to reflect on the Father's commandments daily, we will be better in our interactions with others.
We will be better in our interactions with others, and we won't destroy our communities. Like I was saying earlier, if we were in a righteous state, once a child comes into the world, that's how we would flow. That's how we would be. It said the Father provided us with truth through his law so that we could live long and healthy lives. So it's one thing, everybody should want to live long, but a lot of people are scared to live long because they're scared they won't be healthy. A lot of people want to be 100 years old, but then on the second hand, they're like, well, how healthy am I going to be if I make it, you know? But what did it say? The Most High, the Father provided us with truth so that we could live long and healthy lives. They go hand in hand. He wants to see you live long, and he also wants to see you be healthy while you're doing it. But we're not in that society. We're in that society by the time we 30, I know 20-year-olds talking about how they got back problems. You know, and I'm twice as old as they are, and like, back problem, what you mean? And by the time they 30, they broke down, then 40, then 50, and then, you know, our people, man, you know, it's just, we just don't take care of ourselves. You know, I was me and my dad, you know, we got like a funny sense of humor. So, you know, my dad, you know, he been on drugs majority of my life. You know, so, you know, there's a point when trying to talk sense into him, like, man, you know, ain't you tired of living like this? Ain't you tired? He's like, I like my life. I like being like this. I'm like, you like being like, you know, and you know, I always joke, I be like, man, he gonna outlive all of us. You know, he gonna outlive all of us. But, you know, I seen him the other week, and, you know, I'm like, you know, now he's things done caught up with him. Life has caught up with him. That hard life, drugs, alcohol, so on and so forth, done caught up with him. So now he's on a cane. you know, and you know, me and my dad, you know, we kind of got a brash delivery how we do things, so it's like a sense of humor that you probably wouldn't understand. So I'm like, man, look at you, man, you're gonna need a wheelchair. I'm like, man, but you like living like this, right? He's like, look, what you talking about? I'm like, remember you said you like how you live, and that, look at you. I'm like, man, you need a wheelchair now. I'm like, man, you want a cane? What you got a cane for? I can barely walk. I'm like, no, but you like living like this, right? He's like, I didn't say that. Then he tried to walk without the cane. You know, like, I didn't say that. But then at the same time, he's like, yeah, that sounds like something I said. You know, but I'm teasing him like, man, you know, it's our choices. You know, I always felt like I had to be the one to break the curse. You know, thank the Most High. I feel like, you know, that happened in a sense because there's certain things, you know, I mean, but we still under the curses. You know, certain things I didn't pass down to my sons, and you know, my mom, she always had a great fear that I would, you know, turn out like my dad. You know, with, you know, I guess she had a good reason because, you know, usually that's a great excuse. Well, my dad was like this, so that's how, you know. But she'll tell me in a minute, she's like, you just like your daddy, you just a better version, you know. And to this day, you know, I'm grateful for her out of that, you know, and I'm grateful for her raising me and my sister in the church. But she still has that fear of me being 43, like, is he gonna turn out like his dad? You know, and me being, I never took drugs a day in my life, and it's funny because my mom came to visit like a month or so ago, and it was around, it was Feast of Dedication, I believe. And so I, you know, I'm going to church, you know, teaching lessons, street speaking, you know, I'm in the church, been in the church 3 years, but to my mom, this is not really church. You know, she's a faithful Christian, modern day Christian, you know, like, you know, so I got home late, you know, because I had to get my mom something to eat after the Sabbath. I'm like, Ma, I'll be home, you know, and she's like, okay, I'm good, you know. So I'm like, it's a Saturday, so to her, I'm not at church. Today ain't Sunday, he ain't at church. Like, okay, if he going to church on a Saturday, it don't really count because it's not Sunday. That's how her thinking is. So that day, you know, we got out of church late. So I got home and I took her some food, and it was like, you know, when it's a feast day, we get out late. So I'm like, man, I gotta get my mom something to eat. So, you know, I get home, get her something to eat, and then me and some of the brothers had some stuff to work on. So, you know, I made sure she was good. She was like, you know, I'm gonna turn it in, I'm on the bed. I'm like, okay, you know. So I left back out, went with the brothers, we took care of some business, you know, for the body and everything. So the next day, she was walking around weary. She was like, are you on drugs? I'm like, what? She was like, you came in late last night. You not on drugs like your daddy, are you? I'm like, Ma, no. I'm like, I'm not on drugs. I've never did no drugs a day in my life. But you came in late, you know, and that's all she can think of. Like, you came in late. Only reason you got to be out like that is you doing drugs. You know, and then I'm like, Mom, I was at church. She was like, nah, I just don't want you to be like your daddy. I'm like, Mom, I'm good. I'm like, I was at church. So next thing you know, I'm like looking at her, she still don't believe me. I'm going through my phone, I done pulled up street speaking videos. You know, I'm like, okay, look, you know, because one time the brothers came over, you know, we was working on the movie, the film we got coming out for the body, you know, for the brother GOCC. So, you know, the day prior, the brothers was over my house. So, you know, we all go in the basement and we down there filming, getting things together, but she's upstairs. So in her mind, being a mom, those my drug friends. Like, they down in that basement doing drugs. You know, she's a mom. So I'm showing her now, I feel like I gotta validate myself. I'm showing her videos, I'm showing her, like, I'm teaching class here, I'm showing the street speaking videos, I'm showing this, I'm showing all these works I'm doing in the church. And she like, oh, okay. So now she see the same brothers who was in my house reading for me at the street speaking, seeing this. She like, well, that's the one who came over here, and that's the one, like, oh, okay, you're not a dope head. I'm So it's just a thing of like, those are your parents. And that, you know, I said all that to say that, you know, these curses can be broken. And it starts with you keeping the law. You know, I've only been in this truth 3 years. And I got, you know, 2 sons and a daughter. You know, my sons, one on 21, one 23. They didn't always see me like this, but when they seen me changing over the past few years, and they friends coming over and they asking me questions, and they like, my dad wasn't always like this. So now that didn't like them. So my son, you know, him and his wife, they had our first grandchild. He was like, yeah, we're not doing this, we don't celebrate this, my child not getting vaccinated, none of this. So now I got a grandbaby who, you know, not vaccinated, he's sprouting up real healthy, you know. Now my son's not in the following like I am, but at the same time, I'm that example. Because they know I wasn't always like that, but I wasn't, you know, on the dreadful side of things, but yeah. So where we at? Proverbs continues.
22nd chapter. So we're gonna go to the book of Proverbs 22 and 17.
So yeah, these curses can be broken, and it starts with keeping the law. It starts with being truthful to yourself at some point also.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 22, verse 17. Bow down thy ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply thine heart unto my knowledge.
So apply thine heart unto thy knowledge. So take heed to the Most High word. Continue.
For it is a pleasant thing if thou keep them within thee. They shall withal be fitted in thy lips.
So keeping the Most High's wise counsel, you'll speak it as you live it. It's going to be a part of your being. Anything that you are, that you do the most, that's what your body going to exude. That's what your language is going to exude. So you want to keep the Most High's counsel and law close to you. So when you speak it, you're speaking it as you're living it. You're a living witness. Continue.
That thy trust may be in the Most High. I have made known to thee this day, even to thee, have not I written to thee excellent things and counsels and knowledge, that I might make thee know the certainty of the words of truth.
The certainty of the words of truth. So that's understanding the scriptures and the precepts. Continue.
That thou mightest answer the words of truth to them that send unto thee.
That send unto thee. Let's get the next commentary.
The truth is not just there to correct us. It is there to strengthen us so that we can go forth in boldness to help many change their own lives.
So when you walk in truth, the Most High will embolden you. He'll head you in the same sense, but he'll embolden you. Not for you to be proud, but, you know, to cry loud. You know, that's why you have to walk in truth. It's not to say that you're better than anybody, it's just for you to be that light of the world. That's what it's about. Because that's how you profess the word, by living it, by being a living testament, not being a hypocrite, not being a speak on it but not doing it because people are watching. People are watching. Some people are weighing whether they're going to fall into the understanding that you have on how you walk. And they'll see right through you if you're being a hypocrite, because they know the old you and they know this new you that you claiming to be, and they wait for that moment for you to revert back and be like, yeah, okay, I knew it the whole time. You know, so that's why we're supposed to always walk in the spirit, always using wisdom, always keeping the law. Let's get Isaiah 38. That's what we got. Yeah, Isaiah 38 and 18. So that should be a part of our being, and being truthful as possible, and being and like I said, it's twofold. Being truthful, professing who you are, professing that you follow the Almighty I Am, claiming Christ as our Savior, not wavering, not conceding. Let's get that, Isaiah 38:18.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 38, verse 18. For the grave cannot praise thee, death cannot celebrate thee. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. The living, he shall praise thee. As I do this day, the Father to the children shall make known thy truth.
Shall make known thy truth. So when it say they that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth, it's over. Once you get in that grave, once you get that last breath, it's over. Your deeds are done. The judgment is coming for the deeds that you did that preceded that last breath. Think about that. Think about all the loved ones we lost. Think about the people that we know that didn't come into this truth and understanding. No matter whether they're in the bosom of Abraham or they're in Hades, if they can speak to you, they will tell you keep the commandments. Think about that. The people that we know that done passed on and gone, if they had one thing to say to you, it wouldn't be, it's good seeing you, I'm watching you, and none of that. If they're in the bosom of Abraham, they'll be telling you keep the commandments, because that's how I got here. If they're in Hades, burning in torments, they'll tell you keep the commandments. That's how you keep from coming here. Once you in the grave, what it say? They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. They wish they could at that point. Anybody that done passed on had any words for you, it would be keep the commandments. Let's get the next commentary.
We must practice the righteous act of truth so that we can pass them down to our children. Many of us pass down lies to our children for many years, but now we are called to bring forth truth to also liberate the next generation from spiritual captivity.
So standing for truth is powerful. Your children will follow because they see you being liberated. Like I say, my sons, they got somewhat of an understanding, you know, and most high willing, they'll come into it being like, okay, well, my dad was a living testimony, you know. So that's how we're supposed to be. Let's get Isaiah 48:1. Isaiah 48:1. We'll move right along.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 1. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah, which swear by the name of the Most High, YASHIYA, and make mention of the power of Israel, but not in truth nor in righteousness. For they call themselves of the holy city, and stay themselves upon the power of Israel. The Most High of hosts is his name. I have declared the former things from the beginning, and they went forth out of my mouth. And I shewed them, I did them suddenly, and they came to pass. Because I knew that thou art obstinate.
I knew that thou art obstinate. Obstinate means you're stubborn. Despite severe punishment, you're still going to do it. So if that's Israel, that's us. Despite severe punishment, we'll still be repetitive in iniquity. Continue.
And thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy brow brass.
So you bound. You're a slave to that sin. That's what we don't want to be. That's where stubbornness and being a stiff-necked people will get you. It'll get you in captivity. Let's get the next commentary.
We call on the Father, but not as in people who are walking in truth. Even in the church, many still walk in deception and are stiff-necked. Our lives and deception have got us nowhere in the past, and nothing has changed. Our blessings are held back because we choose to be blessed from the devil through sin.
So we choose to be blessed through the devil through sin. That's how most of the people that have some type of status in this world, that's how they got it. So we call and believe in God, but not according to truth. Think about it. Coming up in Christianity, they call them, but they got the spirit, but they don't have the truth. So we call and believe in God, but not according to truth. That's how stiff-necked we are. We treat the Most High like he's supposed to conform to us. You know what? Yeah, the Bible say the 7th day, the Sabbath day is the day, but you know, God don't care what day you keep as the Sabbath. I'll see you at church Sunday. Like the Most High gonna be like, man, you know what? Forget what I was saying about the 7th day being and the Sabbath being perpetual. All the multitude of people going to church on Sunday, so I'm gonna conform to them. It don't work like that. And this is what we gotta wrap our head around to a lot of people when we come into the truth, and then we try to tell them and expound on things about the truth. It's like, well, why would God not, you know, now they want to conform God to, you need to, if God loves us, why he don't, nah, you got to conform to him. He's the king. He's the great I am. You follow the king. You're the subject. You follow the king. But Babylon has corrupted our minds so much to think that if I just stay how I am and stay in my zone, the Most High understand that he'll know my heart. No, he don't conform to us at all. And a lot of us, Most High willing, not us, but a lot of people, the multitude, gonna realize that on Judgment Day. When they can't even say nothing, but they trying to say but, and it won't even come out. Let's get the next commentary. Jeremiah, we're going to Jeremiah 7 and 28. Salaki.
All right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7, verse 28. But thou shalt say unto them, this is a nation that obeyeth not the voice of the Most High their power, nor receiveth correction. Truth is perished and is cut off from their mouth.
So truth not even in our mouth. We won't even receive correction. And then when the Most High give us judgment, we still won't change. You ever see somebody that you try to give them correction, they won't even accept the punishment. Like, Israel, the only people that can do that. Well, you be like, yeah, so this is what your judgment or your punishment gonna be. You're gonna have to do yada yada yada. Nah, I ain't doing that. I'll do something else, but I ain't gonna do that. That's us. You gotta conform to me. I understand I deserve the punishment, but I ain't gonna do that. You want me to wash the toilets? I ain't gonna do that. I'll sweep the floors, but I ain't gonna do that. Well, your judgment is to wash the toilets. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't getting, but I'll do this. That's us. That's what we try to do with the Most High. Try to get him to conform to us. But, you know, that judgment gonna stick. Let's get the next commentary.
This is a serious problem these days receiving correction. People are easily offended and truth is not received because we have grown accustomed to following our own flesh as our God as opposed to the Most High. We must change this paradigm of sinful behavior around and walk in truth to survive the judgment ahead.
So it said there is a serious problem these days with receiving correction. That's just what I just said. We the only people that want to tell the reprover how to reprove us. Like I said, it's like not accepting the punishment. Or we'll be like, well, you should have told me nicer. You know, your facial expression wasn't right. Or it'd be like, you know what, you should have said it this way. How you gonna tell me how you gonna dictate how I should give you a punishment and I'm the one reproving you? Well, I hear what you're saying, but you shouldn't have told me like that. You should have said it like this. Or you can't handle me like that. I won't hear you. When you handle me like that, I won't hear you. You know, and then I got another that say, you say it all the time. Yeah, so we'll come up with little things like, see, you said I do this all the time, but I only do this some of the time. We the only ones who don't, we reject reproof. We'll tell you I hear what you're saying, but I ain't accept it and I ain't receive you because the way you said it, you should have said it like this. Like, how you gonna tell me? I'm the one reproving you. That's like on the side, you know, like, y'all not even, you know, passing down judgment and it's not enough. You just don't get it. Let's get Jeremiah 9:5. Jeremiah 9:5. So that just spoke on how we just, you know, we got a problem receiving correction. And that's the thing, like Babylon has taught us, it's almost like, how dare you? How dare you tell me how I'm doing something wrong? How dare you, you know, if I offended you, how dare you tell me that I offended you? You know, you could have told me a different way. You know, it's crazy. Let's get that.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 9, verse 5. And they will deceive every one his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity. Wow.
And weary themselves to commit iniquity. So they wear themselves out trying to deceive. Like I said, when you could have spent your energy and time being fruitful, showing the fruits of the Spirit. They wear themselves out trying to deceive. You ever seen somebody that's a hustler? You ever seen somebody that's like always trying to get over on people? Just say, hey man, you know, don't try to swindle me. Just say, hey man, you know, would you like to buy this? And da 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 da. It's a way to go about it. But no, they gotta hustle you and swindle you. You go a hustler trying to sell you a shirt that's too big for you, and they'll convince you it look good on you. You're like, man, this shirt too big. You're gonna grow into it. Like, I'm 43. You know, but a slick tongue and hustler will do that. Continue.
Verse 6. Thy habitation is in the midst of deceit. Through deceit thy refuge Through deceit they refuse to know me, saith the Most High.
So they refuse to know him. So they stay with ways trying not to be found out. And that's where the deceit is at. And you can see right through them. Continue.
Therefore, thus saith the Most High of hosts, behold, I will melt them and try them. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people?
Continue. Their
tongue is an arrow shot out. It is speak of deceit. One speaketh peaceably to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he layeth his way.
Yeah, go that heart again. Continue.
Shall I not visit them for these things?
So shall the Most High not damnify these people for these things? Should he not bring a judgment? Continue.
Said the Most High, shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this?
This stiff-necked nation? Should it not be some payback? Should it not be a judgment? I can't sweep this under the rug. And it all starts from being truthful. Let's get the next commentary.
The Most High said, we have tired ourselves out to commit sin. Think of all the people whose bodies are destroyed because of their sinful habits. We brought this on ourselves, and through continued lying, we destroy our own neighborhoods and future generations.
So like I said earlier, lying has been a main staple point in our upbringing. We was told as children not to lie, but as you get older, you notice adults lying. You know, we all seen that one where your parents say, answer the door and say I'm not here. Like, Mama, you lying. Daddy, you lying. You know, like, just do it. You know, answer the phone and say I'm not here. You know, me and my dad used to go fishing. He used to be like, if the game warden come, you 9 years old. I'm like, but I'm 13. You 9 years old. I'm like, that's a lot. So it's cool to lie. You 9 years old. If the game warden, because, you know, you got to have a fishing license. So you got to be a certain age. I'm 13 years old, talking about I'm 8 or 9. You know, so we pass that down to our people. We pass that down to our children. So now I got a vexed mind as to, okay, I'm supposed to tell the truth, but at certain times it's okay to lie. That's what that's saying. That's just what that's speaking to. We brought this on ourselves, and through continued lying, we destroy our own neighborhoods and future generations. So now that child have a vexed mind as to, okay, do I tell the truth or not? Let's get the next set of scriptures. Hosea 4:1. Hosea 4:1, 1 through 6.
All right, this is the book of Hosea, chapter 4, verse 1. Hear the word of the Most High, ye children of Israel. For the Most High have a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land. By swearing and lying,
There go again, continue.
and killing, and stealing, and committing adultery.
Those are all deceits. Those are all shaped with lying. They go hand in hand. Continue.
They break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven. Yeah, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priests. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night. And I will destroy thy mother.
Continue.
My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children.
So from 1 through 6 that the brother just read, I let him go on because if you look at all these calamities, therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish. Look at all these verses. Those are what? These are our limitations. These are our limitations. If you look in the book of Lamentations, same things happen to us. All from being deceitful and untruthful and lying and committing adultery, swearing, so on and so forth. These are the limitations of the Israelites. Let's get the next commentary.
Our own families or blood have become the victim of our lies and deceit, and yet still we haven't had enough. We must take back our families and ultimately our communities through truth, so that we can finally liberate ourselves from the pain and suffering which we go through daily.
It says our own families or blood have become the victims of our lies and deceit, and yet still we haven't had enough. So we don't even love our families and bloodline enough to turn away from our lying hearts. Think about that. We don't even love our offspring and the future generation coming behind us to say, okay, I'm gonna be the one to break the curse. I'm gonna be the one that live for the Most High. I'm gonna be the one that institute, like the scriptures say, as for my house, we'll serve the Most High. We don't even love our offspring enough for that. All the anguish and things we've been through, obviously you don't want to see your child go through it, but what are we doing or leaving behind or implementing them to keep them from that vein? Do we really love our children? Do we really love our children if we allow them to go through the same curses we go through and pass down nothing? Let's get the next commentary. Now let's go to 2 Timothy 4:2. 2 Timothy 4:2. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell the commentary from the scriptures. The elders be on so on point. 2 Timothy 4:2.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 2. Still your pages turn. Everybody there? All right. 2 Timothy, chapter 4, verse 2. Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine.
So be instant in season and out of season. So be constantly in truth. Continue.
For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and shall be turned into fables. But watch thou in all things, endure affliction, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry.
Make full proof of thy ministry, and it says, but watch thou in all things, endure afflictions. So that means tell and spread the truth regardless. If they not hearing, tell it regardless. If they not taking heed, tell it regardless. You don't force it upon them, but as time go on, less people are going to have an ear. But we still going to spread it. We still going to live it. We still going to be the light. So we're going to tell it regardless. We're telling with our actions. We're telling with being the light. We don't let our light dissipate because we're like, man, nobody's hearing the truth anymore. So what do that mean? We got to stop being spreading the gospel? No. You tell it regardless. You embody it, and that'll tell it. Let's get the next commentary.
There are many who look to be under leadership of those who would excuse their sinful behavior and ultimately cause them to turn away from the truth. Through rejecting lies and confusion, we have a sound mind to be ready to answer those who seek clarity in their lives.
So it said, there are many who look to be under leadership of those who would excuse their sinful behavior and ultimately cause them to turn away from the truth. So if you have a mind of deceitfulness and iniquity, you'll find a body or a doctrine or a church to support it. Flat out. A lot of people get this truth, but they still hold on to some of the sins of the world that they had. So they still want to be a whoremonger. So they come to GOCC. Y'all don't do multiple wives here? Okay, next thing you know, they with somebody else. Man, bro, what happened? I don't see you no more. Yeah, man, I'm with these brothers now, and hey, meet my wife. Oh, hey, how you doing, sister? And then there's wife number 2 and wife number 3, and like, okay, that's what you was on. So no matter what sin or iniquity you're dealing with, you'll find it, because you're gonna have that mindset of like, okay, I got the truth that's setting me apart from the world, but this is not allowed there. So if you want to be a weed smoker, you can't come here with that. You're going to start finding a body or a church or some brothers, and y'all going to turn some precepts inside out. Yeah, see, it's lawful right here. It's lawful past that. You're going to find it, because that's where your heart is at. You got a deceitful heart. Let's continue.
We're going to go to the second book of Timothy, chapter 2, verse 9.
So yeah, if you want to swindle people, you're going to go somewhere where it's a prosperity movement, because that's where your heart is at. So all of these things are, the name of the lesson is truth liberates. You're liberated of that iniquity, and if you relinquish it through keeping the law and the Holy Spirit. You're not bound to that. We shouldn't be bound to the things that we were dealing with once we came into the truth. Yeah, we still might struggle with it, but we shouldn't be bound by it.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 9. Wherein I suffer trouble as an evildoer, even unto bonds. But the word of the Most High is not bound. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Christ YASHIYA with eternal glory. It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
That means Christ is the way for life. Continue.
If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful. He cannot deny himself. Of these things put them in remembrance, charging them before the Most High, that they strive not about words to no profit, but to subverting of the hearers.
Be a doer, not just a hearer. Don't just hear the word, follow through, do it, keep it, continue.
Study to shew thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. But shun profane and vain babbling, for they will increase into more ungodliness.
Let's get the next commentary.
Being a person of truth also comes with a struggle. In fact, a world of lies, it seems as if you are seriously outnumbered. Just keep in mind, however, that if you live in the truth, you will also reign in the truth. There comes a time where you must reject deceit and not entertain it, because it will only cause more confusion. This also will set you apart from the world and will often make you appear as one who is wicked to those who do not seek righteousness. Just remember that even Christ went through the same struggles.
Christ went through these same struggles. So it says, in this world, it's a fact, in the world of lies, it seems as if you are seriously outnumbered. Being a person of truth always comes with struggle. So in this world, being truthful means you can't be trusted by those who are wicked. Think about it. In this world, because you're a saint and you live an honest life, to the wicked, they can't trust you. Because it's like if something go down, well, he's not going to be on our side. He's going to probably be one to tell the truth, and telling the truth in their version is snitching and so on and so forth, when they need somebody to collude with them. So let's get the next next set of scriptures, Matthew 10 and 27. You're an enemy of the state when you walking righteously. You know, they'll make you think something wrong with you because you uphold the tenets of Christ. Matthew 10 and 27.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 27. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops.
Upon the housetops, so cry aloud, like Isaiah 58 and 1 states. Continue.
And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. And are not two sparrows sold for a farthing? And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father.
Mm-hmm.
But the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear ye not, therefore, ye are more valued than many sparrows.
So fear the Most High. Fear the one that know every hair upon your head. He the one that's going to give you the judgment. Don't walk around and conform to the world because you're not favorited here. Fear the one that know everything about you inside and out. Fear the one, the great I am that knows everything. That's the one you should be fearing. That's the one you should be taking heed to. Not mere man. All right, let's get the next commentary.
We must stand in truth to liberate others from the grip of the devil. We can't fear their threats or anger because this plane that we exist on is temporary, and so are its dangers. Our goal is the eternal kingdom, so we must remember that the eternal Father of all is counting on us to speak his light into the world.
It says the eternal Father of all is counting on us. So, like, what good, we got to endure. It's like, what good is it to know the law and things like that, and then succumbing to people of the world, their threats? Like, okay, you're going to have to deal with judgment regardless. So what good is it to a mortal man to be like, okay, I'm going to conform to them? So what's the point of you knowing the law? What's the point of you, the Father is counting on us. Be worthy of something. You know, and it's like the lesson I did before where I was just saying, be steadfast. Be unmovable. Be rooted. Stand for the Most High. Stand for righteousness. Because at the end of, throughout the wash, it's going to be something, so you might as well be in the Most High's good graces, Most High willing. Because what reward are you going to get from man? Nothing. It's temporary. Let's get the next set of scriptures.
We're going to go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 14.
So there's no point in succumbing to man's threats. You know, you're going to be damned off of that. So you might as well endure to the bitter end. And, you know, I would like to think that we saints of the Most High, we're not going to tap out. You know, Israel, the Most High always kept a remnant. It's going to be something that come and go, fall by the wayside. But, you know, a lot of us, we gonna hang in there. We want that great reward. We got a kingdom to get.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same.
So Christ came in the flesh. Continue.
That through death, that he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is, the devil.
Satan. So Satan had the power of death. Death was the sin that came with the fall of Adam. So Christ came in the flesh, as we are, to show us that it can be done. Continue.
And deliver them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage.
Subject to bondage. So he's the only way to eternal life. So woe to those who don't believe in Christ. It's just being an Israelite is not enough. Just knowing that we came over on cargo slave ships is not enough. You know, and that's what a lot of people in these bogus doctrines are hinging on. You know, they hinging off of just being the stock of Israel. Don't have no tenets of Christ, don't believe in Christ, don't believe in baptism, none of that. So they gonna be with the multitude. It was like I was just saying, like, what's the point of that? But you know what? That just really gives them a scapegoat to what they're just being slothful in their walk. You know, because if they believed in baptism and believed in Christ, it now comes that thou shalt now do this and do that. They got to stick to those tenets of Christ. That's the extra mile they don't want to go. You know, they want to offend. They want to, you know, create havoc and all this and that. And more than anything, a lot of times they want to have the hate in their heart. So just being a stock of Israel isn't enough. Let's get the next commentary.
Christ delivered us from death through his sacrifice so that we are no longer to be fearful of death if we walk in the spirit and in truth. Mm-hmm. We have been afraid of death and treated as broken lions in a zoo. It is now time to free our minds and stand through all adversity to help bring others into the kingdom.
So that's what I was saying. That death is the sin that came with Adam falling. So it said Christ delivered us from death through his sacrifice so that we are no longer to be fearful of death if we walk in spirit and in truth. So Christ made a way for us to escape death. He did what Adam couldn't do. He did what Adam couldn't do and defeated death and said, this is how you defeat death. So most of the time, we fear dying because we know our lifestyle or our transgressions or iniquity or just it's a crapshoot. We don't know where we're going. So now we fear dying. But when you walking uprightly, living righteous, keeping the law, you don't fear death. You don't fear I'm going into a den of lions. I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death. You don't fear it because you know what your reward is. You're gonna be in that bosom. But when you've been kind of shaky and iffy, you fear death because you don't know what's waiting for you. Look at the disciples. They was gracious for getting trampled on and beaten, because they knew the reward. So it was no doubt in their mind. Every rock upside the head was closer to peace. It's like, man, did you feel that one? Did he hit you with that brick yet? No, he hit me with the small brick, man. Wait till you get hit with that brick. They welcomed it, because they weren't iffy about where they was going to end up. Let's continue.
We're going to go to the book of John, chapter 4, verse 21. This is the book of John, chapter 4, verse 21.
Come on, we'll go right through it. Go ahead.
YASHIYA said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet in Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews.
Salvation of the Jews, continue.
But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth.
Spirit and in truth. So that's what we're learning now, to worship in spirit and in truth. They go hand in hand. You know, in Christianity, they had the spirit. They didn't have the truth. In this walk, we sort of we got the truth, but we didn't really have the spirit. So now we're learning how to worship, learning how to do all those things, you know. They go hand in hand. So that's what it said, worship whom ye know not. They go hand in hand, gotta have both. Continue.
For the Father seeketh such to worship him. The Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
Spirit and in truth. Let's get the next commentary.
Truth is powerful and has liberated the blind in spirit through many generations. We must cleave to it to purge ourselves from all manner of unrighteousness. It is time to build up true worshipers for the kingdom of ahead.
It is time to build up true worshipers for the kingdom ahead. So we gotta add to this righteous army by girding truth. We gotta get more soldiers in this righteous army. We gotta add to the kingdom to come. It does us no good to get this truth and not at least try to pass it to our loved ones, our family. You know, I've come across people in this walk where it's like, well, have you told your family about it? And it's like, well, no, they don't want to hear me. I just want to be up out of here, da 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 da. So you just want it for yourself? You got to at least try. They could be a soldier in this army of truth. But it's more or less like, well, I got the truth, they ain't trying to hear me. I'm ready to go get up out of Babylon, and they're not trying to hear it. Like, you gotta at least try. You never know. That's a selfish mentality, to be truthfully honest. To be like, oh, I got the truth, and you know what, man, I can't wait to Christ's return. I can't wait till we up out of here. And they ain't even told the soul. That's very selfish. That's the wrong mindset to have. We need more soldiers in this army of truth. Continue.
We're going to go to the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5.
Hebrews 13 and 5.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee.
That's powerful. Go ahead.
So that we may boldly say, the Most High is my helper. I will not fear what man shall do unto me. Remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of the Most High, whose faith follow, considering the end of their conversation. YASHIYA Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever.
And forever. So we got to be the same way. We got to be steadfast to Christ. we got to hold steadfast to Christ. Continue.
Be not carried about with divers and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, which not profited them that have been occupied therein.
So, woe to those who don't believe. Like, I'll be feeling sorry for people who don't believe in Christ, because He's the only way. So if you don't believe in the only way, woe to you. Like, man, let's get the next commentary.
Our lack of contentment also causes us to fight against the truth. Once we are content, we have confidence in the Father, who always has looked out for us, and we are no longer slaves to our own worldly behavior, which keep us in bondage to Satan. Crazy doctrines also come as a byproduct of our own lack of overcoming our weaknesses through truth.
This is a real powerful commentary. It says our lack of contentment, so that's your lack of happiness, also causes us to fight against the truth. And we done seen that. Some people get the truth, but they still want a piece of Babylon. They want a piece so much that they walk away from the truth. Some people get the truth and be like, man, there's still a slice of Babylon out there for me. And then next thing you know, you don't see a brother. Next thing you know, they trying to hustle and bustle in Babylon because it was like, I found this out right before I got to do this, but I still need that slice. And it ultimately is going to make you walk away from the truth. We see it. It's sad. It's like, you got the truth coming to this, and then you still looking in the rearview mirror like, man, America ain't been destroyed yet. Man, America's still here. I'm still here operating. Well, I might as well get this while I'm in it. Wrong mindset to have. But you know what? They'll still have that, they know the truth, so they'll go and cling to a false doctrine. That's why I say down there, crazy doctrines also come as a byproduct of our own lack of overcoming our weaknesses through faith, and also a byproduct of our own lack of contentment, happiness. Some people in the truth, but they're not happy, but they feel like the things that Babylon offer can offset that. So that's really where their heart is at. So they'll end up walking away from the truth, still trying to get that piece of Babylon. Let's get the next set of scriptures. Revelations 2 and 9.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works, and tribulations, and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogues of Satan. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prisons, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulations 10 days. But thou faithful unto death, and will give thee a crown of life.
Crown of life. So any persecution you may receive is worth the reward you're going to get. Whatever Satan throw at you is worth the reward you're going to get. You just got to endure. Continue.
He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death.
Let's get the next commentary. Go ahead.
The Father promised liberation, and we simply have to believe in it and walk as those who will inherit a righteous kingdom shortly. No more walking as if we are servants to this world.
That Babylon, go, continue.
We are preparing for a world to come. The gathering of many against the righteous means nothing. Have faith and finish your course.
Have faith and finish your course. With that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom.
May the Most High add a blessing to the hearers and the doers of His word. With that being said, we got any questions or comments on the lesson? Any questions or comments? No questions, no comments? Okay, with that we'll say Shabbat Shalom, Barak Atah.
Really breaks my heart. Cause we've been lied to, misled for years, calling out to the Most High on this trail of tears.